That's right. It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 5 now.
Yeah,
Small
5.
milestone. Small milestones. We'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to celebrate what little victories you can get.
So, of course, by now, hopefully, you kind of know what we're about. We just kind of pull up a topic, have a little fun, chat back and forth, do a little research. Hopefully, you learn a little something, and then maybe a little goofing off here and there, and maybe a little dark humor thrown in once in a while. Speaking of dark, I'll throw in some humor on this one as we go through it. But I found several things to make fun of on this one, but yet it is a little creepy and does talk about a dead girl. So there's your darkness. We're going to kick today's episode off with some people. This is a familiar story. It's the story of Elisa Lam. So Tony will kind of kick off here in a minute on who this girl was and kind of what happened and what made this story famous. It was about 6 years ago, but this has gone all over the internet over the years, and I was ashamed of myself that I'd heard about this, but I never really looked into it, and me with the I guess I'm have the predisposition to dig into stuff like this and these creepy stories. But after researching it, I think I had heard it before. I just never really dove into it. So enough of me talking and dancing around it. Go ahead. What happened? Who's Elisa Lam, and why should people care about this?
So yeah, Elisa Lam, 2013. Essentially, she was traveling through California by herself. I don't think it was for school or anything. I think it was just a trip, checking out major cities and tourist attractions. So basically what happened was she was last seen alive at the hotel she was staying at in Los Angeles, which was the Hotel Cecil. She failed to check out, so her disappearance is released. February 14th, surveillance video from the hotel in LA is released by the police. And in these lengthy clips, which we will show here shortly, she's seen lingering in an elevator by herself, behaving in weird manners. And a lot of people are thinking she's interacting with someone or someone's off camera that you can't see. Others are thinking something's wrong with her in the head. Maybe she's on drugs. Hard to say. It's pretty chilling footage, to say the least. So there's a ton of speculation to be taken from the clip. So 5 days after the release of the videos, the hotel begins their investigation. Guest complaints of low water pressure and an odd taste in the water supply. Maintenance worker located on the roof. Here we go, checking the water supply. They confirm the body in there is Elisa Lam. It's one of 4 large tanks on the roof, and it's incredibly hard to get to and get into the tank. Another red flag, very weird. June 2013, coroner's office confirms Elisa Lam's death to be accidental. Bipolar disorder is a significant condition, one of the main reasons they are calling it accidental. I believe the police are saying they haven't necessarily ruled out fair play, but I think there's conflicting reports on that as well. The location of her body and odd behavior are among the mysteries yet to be resolved. Authorities, including the police, have not officially stated, now this could be old, how they believe she got into the tank. Law enforcement says they have to be careful. It could be accidental, could not. Widespread public suspicion. Like you said, this is a very interesting story. It's spread like wildfire all over the internet. And adding to the uneasiness of this would be the checkered history of the hotel itself, where a woman leapt to her death from the roof in the 1960s, and serial killer Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, lived there for a time in the mid-1980s. Fun little factoid for you on this dark story. But in a nutshell, that's kind of how the events played out. We can get into more of it, though, here in a second.
Yeah, and not only was the Night Stalker there, which I believe he was staying there as he was on his killing spree. It was like 13 people he had killed. But then there was Jack Unterweger, I think is how you pronounce it, was He killed 3 different sex workers a few years after that whole incident. So this poor hotel, first off, man,
Yeah.
700 room hotel was really popular, and yeah, now man, what a bad rap. You get a couple of serial killers, suicides, and now this is just the creepiest of all. After we go through this, they tried to change their name, but are they still open? From what I understand, they might have closed.
I guess I'm not sure. I didn't look to see if they are still open. I know, yeah, the name changed, but you can change your name. But I mean, it's a big city. People know the history, urban legends. Yeah, how are you gonna? Once you got that tagline, you don't get to kick it. It's just that easily by changing your name.
Yeah, yeah. At that point, you might as well either pack up, move on, or maybe you need to embrace this and make it.
Yeah, that's what I would do. One thing you mentioned when you were talking about him and his serial killing, I think one of the reasons that they didn't necessarily look into her disappearance as thoroughly as you would expect at first. I think there were actually a bunch of college age girls her age range that were going missing at the time. So I think maybe that had part of the reason that it wasn't really dive headfirst into investigation. So I think that played a big part in it. Why it took so long to kind of piece the parts together.
Sure, that makes sense. But either way, let's get into some of this video footage here. I'm gonna pull up real quick, just to we'll play through. This is like 4 minutes. We can talk through it as we're watching here, but you can kind of see these are some of the last moments that anybody's seen of Lisa Lam. So you see her coming to the elevator, and she's just crazy pushing buttons on there, and
it looks like she can't really find the floor. Then she finds it and decides to push a bunch more. Uneasiness.
This is where it gets weird. Like, what was that?
Yeah, clearly she thinks she's being followed here, or somebody's out the door. Now she hides. Like, you're trapped here, but she's still making the effort to hide. So yeah, what exactly is going through her head at this point?
So hey, where's that door close button? Like,
yeah, right.
What is wrong with this elevator too? Like, I get it's got an auto stop when you like walk out there, but keep watching this. This door just does not shut. It's
that's the first thing I thought. Like, it never seems to close. All the buttons she pushes, and it was never the door close button.
Yeah, just practicing some dance moves here.
Yeah, it's in and out. The movements are very strange, and I think this is part of it where people are thinking she's interacting with someone. But as many times as she looked in and out and looked left and right, and then she stands out there like this, and you think she's talking to someone, but I don't know. It doesn't look like she is to me, I guess.
I don't know. It was like she put her hands up and it's kind of just standing out there. She continues these just really strange movements and thoughts, and yeah, you see here, come back in. Let's push some more buttons, and that door is still not going to shut.
Yeah, not the door close button.
That's the first thing I do when I get into an elevator. I just start hammering that damn button.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, more buttons. She's confused. Now
she has no patience. She pushed all the buttons, and then she's like, you know what, the hell with it. I'm standing out here.
See, now that right there, she goes out there, and she's starting to talk to somebody on her right. There's nobody on her right. Like maybe on her left, on the other side of the video, where we couldn't see. But now, yeah, she's talking to nobody. It's almost like she's arguing with herself here, which is why people are thinking, okay, she's either on drugs, is she possessed, mental condition, what's going on here?
So she, from what I understand, she was bipolar, and she was to be on several medications for psychotics or something like that. She had plenty of uppers and downers, but from what I understand, she was only taking some and not all. So some people believe that's what. Look at this door is still open. She
still open. Away. Yeah, that's weird. That alone is weird.
All right, so the Cecil Hotel maintenance guy's got a bigger problem here than.
Well, other than fixing the elevator door, he needs to not put dead bodies bodies period into a water tank.
All right, so the door's closing. Yay!
There you go. And she is not on it. She's gone. No. Nowhere to be seen.
So, and the rest of this video just kind of shows the door opening and shutting. Yeah. And now, like, it opens and shuts like a normal
now it's good. Now it works for some reason. What you talked about though with the medication she's on, or I guess I didn't take a close look at what they released for toxicology reports, but were they thinking this was a substance that she, would be an illegal substance that she took drug wise, or are we thinking it's like a really bad cocktail of the prescriptions that she was taking?
So from what I understand, like what was it? It was like Lexapro or something similar to that. There were several different ones of antidepressants and antipsychotics that she was supposed to be on, and I can't remember what mixture she did take or didn't take, but they were prescription drugs. Some people thought maybe she was on X or something like that, but the toxicology said no illegal substances were in her system, and only it was either the antidepressant or the antipsychotic. One of the two she still had in her system, so she did show evidence of taking some of her meds, but she was not taking all of her meds. So
Okay, so it wasn't the medication she's supposed to be taking interfering with itself. This was more along the lines of she didn't take one. Maybe that's what was affecting her mental state.
correct, correct. So the interesting part about this is how did she get up into that water thing? So on top of the roof, like Tony said, there's these big 4 water barrels, and they're probably, I'm guessing, about 10 foot high. I don't know, but they, they're on the roof. The roof hatch or the escape to the roof is supposed to be locked, and has an alarm system that should trigger and allow the hotel employees to know somebody's on the roof and
Yeah,
where they shouldn't be. Nothing
standard
got tripped.
restriction.
Yeah,
Standard restriction.
no
Nothing.
alarms got tripped, and nobody was alerted that anything was going on until the days later when people had brown water, low water pressure, and it tasted funky, to say the least.
Yeah, so I mean, normal roof restrictions with alarms. You don't want people up there, but you keep them out. Then you've got the super restrictive access to the water tanks, which only a select few people are going to be able to get into. So therein lies the theory of, did a maintenance worker put her in there? How did she get in there by herself? Yeah, look at this thing. How did
Hopefully
she? Is there even a ladder? I don't even see a ladder.
Right? I'm hoping it's not
I
playing
mean,
the
that would
audio
be
on this.
part of the restricted access if they didn't actually have a fixed ladder attached to any of these.
Right? So yeah, it's look around there. There's no like ladders around. That was one theory I had researched, was supposedly from one of the side rooms on this building. You could go out a fire hatch ladder and climb to the top. But in this footage, they kind of do a helicopter view going around. You see how tall those tanks are. Like, you fell in that full of water, you're never going to push that latch back open. You just
No,
you don't have anything to get footing.
no, there's no ladder inside the tank either. I bet.
Right. So you see the
I guess you
guy.
could climb up on that barricade and maybe get on top, but that really takes some work.
Well, how do you get onto the rift in the first place? That's the
Well, they've got a
real.
ladder there, but I assume that's theirs.
Yeah. Well, so you can see the guy kind of climbing in the tank there, almost taking turns. You get this black jacket guy walking across on the roof here. Gonna.
Ooh.
Oh, it's rainy. Hey, can I have some umbrella? That's sweet. Taking care of each other. So look at that. There's no ladders on the sides of the building.
No,
How do you climb out a window and get to the roof?
no, that's total bunk. There's no way.
So the other thought is hotel employees. I guess it's the police kind of investigated the thought of how she would have gotten up there if she put herself into that tank.
Was that the door to the? Was that the access door to the roof, the main one? That
Yeah,
red
yeah.
door?
There is a large access door, but that's the one that has an alarm on it to where.
Okay, but if that's the one, and she could get out that, you could get on top of that platform, and yeah, you could kind of shimmy off the top of that roof down on top of those. So
For
it
sure.
really more so becomes a case of how did she get onto the roof without tripping a sensor, without anybody knowing? Because if that's the case, she could get into him. I mean, it's still going to be difficult. Don't get me wrong, but once she's on the roof and nobody knows that she's there, she could do it. But is this a case of somebody put her in there, somebody took her up there, somebody else shut down the alarm? Was this a group effort? Because they're saying it's accidental, but at the same time, they're not ruling out foul play. So, I mean, they're leaving themselves a lot of leeway because there's so many questions that nobody can seem to confirm.
Right. So, there's probably the facts here are they're all over the place. But so they found her in the tank, her clothes off, which is a little peculiar. But I guess if you're having a psychotic state and you fall in, or jump into a big tank of water with a 30-pound latch door, sure you can get in. But getting out, not going to work, especially like I said, with it that deep. If it's full of water, you're never going to have the leverage to push up on that lid.
No. It's pitch black. You're medicated. Yeah, no, not happening. You're stuck.
Yeah. So the toxicology final ruling of death was accidental drowning is what they ruled it as. Which, yeah, anybody gets thrown in there is going to drown for sure. There's not much your body's not going to be able to stay above water that long. You're gonna give out of exhaustion after some time. So
yeah, I think labeling it accidental drowning is more so covering your bases as far as saying, well, it wasn't suicide, but we don't know.
So the other interesting thing, I don't know, the paranormal thought process of this was possibly she was playing a game they call the elevator game, which I was surprised as my son walked in here as I'm prepping to have this episode. He goes, "Oh, Dad, are you doing an episode on the elevator game?" I'm like, "How?"
Great.
I'm like, great. My 10-year-old knows about the elevator game. Now I need to start censoring his YouTube, I guess. But
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that gets in some dark territory.
Yeah, that was
wow.
weird.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, I don't know a ton about this elevator game. So I was hoping, Tony, you walk us through. I know you've researched this a little bit. Walk us through like the steps of it. It sounds really, really complicated, and that's probably why I didn't research it. Is after you get past step 3 on most things, I'm like, shut up, I don't want to do this. But I'll share the video through there, and you walk us through if this is an elevator game and how this could be thought of as the elevator game.
Okay, so essentially the elevator game's origins and why the steps are so convoluted to the point that they are is because originates from a creepypasta. A creepypasta is a play on words of copy and paste. Way back, you used to get email chain threads of urban legends, scary stories, right? Well, this is a play on those. And this is a intricate game creepypasta that, nobody knows where it came from. I think maybe Korea, but it's all hearsay. But anyway, here are the steps. Now, the factual data behind it, whether or not anybody's actually ever played it and gotten to the other world, highly debatable. But the game essentially is you do these steps, and once you complete it, if you did it properly, you will be in another world. And the only person in this world will be you. And I mean person. So let's get through it. Players, 1 player. That's it. You. Nobody else. That's it. You need 1 building with at least 10 stories with an elevator, and all 3 of these conditions have got to be met for you to proceed. So, let me see here.
So this is not a co-op game. Like, are they going to come out with a part 2 where we can? Like...
Well, I hope if there is a sequel to it, I would be really excited because I'll be frank, I don't really want to do this myself. And if you want to come and hold hands with me while we try it out, I'd be more than happy to check it out with you. Let's see here. And of course, this one. Here we go. So you enter your chosen building. You get into the elevator on the first floor alone. Do not proceed if anybody else is in the elevator with you. So yeah, if the bad guy comes with you, don't play. You press the button for the 4th floor. When the elevator reaches the 4th floor, do not get out. Instead, remain in the elevator and press the button for the 2nd floor. Once you've reached the 2nd floor, remain in the elevator, press the button for the 6th floor. Again, you're just going up and down, nothing crazy yet. When you reach the 6th floor, remain in the elevator, press the button for the 2nd floor. Once you've reached the 2nd floor, remain in the elevator, press the button for the 10th floor. Once you've reached the 10th floor, remain in the elevator. Press the button for the 5th floor. Here we go. Once you've reached the 5th floor, a young woman may enter the elevator. Do not look at her. Do not speak to her. She is not what she seems. Okay.
Doesn't say you can't touch her. I could
Do not interact with her at all, would be my takeaway from these instructions. Press the button for the 1st floor. If the elevator begins ascending to the 10th floor instead of descending to the 1st, you may proceed. If the elevator descends to the 1st floor, exit as soon as the door opens. Do not look back. Do not speak. Hence, something went wrong. Instead, if you do reach the 10th floor, you may either choose to get off of the elevator or stay on it. If you choose to get off, and if the woman entered on the 5th floor, she will ask you, where are you going? Do not answer her. Do not look at her. You will know whether you have arrived at the other world by one indication. The only person present is you. Now, if you've completed it and you've gotten to this point, which probably not likely, this is where you get off if you want to explore. You explore the other world. This is the steps that you need to take on your way back, because the accounts that I've read, of course, these are more creepypasta, urban legend stories, but you wander around. It's going to look exactly the same as the motel or whatever building was before you got here, right? It's going to look the same, but it's going to be dark. It's going to feel weird. You're going to slowly become more and more disoriented, messed up in the head. Your wits are going to be taken from you. All your senses are going to be completely out of whack. So the longer you stay, the worse off you're going to be. So if you do get off and you check out Otherworld, you need to make it quick, get back on the elevator. And these are the steps you follow on the return trip. Press the button for the 1st floor. Doesn't work, press it until it finally does. When it does reach the 1st floor, exit as soon as the door opens. Don't look back, don't speak, because she might still be on there. If you do get off, you must use the exact same elevator to return home. When you enter the elevator, press the buttons in the same order you did in steps 2 through 8. You should finish at the 5th floor. When you reach that floor, press the button for the 1st floor. The elevator again will begin to ascend to the 10th. Press any other floor's button, cancel the ascension. You must press it before you get to the 10th floor. And after you reach the 1st floor, check your surroundings carefully. If anything seems off, even the smallest detail, do not exit. If you detect something wrong, repeat step 2 until your surroundings look as they should. Once you're confident you're in your own world, then you can get off. Some of the fun little additional notes, if you do this, you'll see the only thing that you're going to see, because all the lights are going to be off, is going to be a red cross off in the distance. Some say electronics work, some say it doesn't. If you do get off...
So I might be able to text you from another world.
I don't know if they have 4G yet. They're probably still running off 3G. And... the last one was, if you faint, pass out, lose consciousness, you'll likely wake up in your own home. However, since you didn't complete the game, it's probably still not your home. You're probably still in the other world. So you've got to go back and, finish the process until you finally do get back. And of course, again, it stresses, woman on the 5th floor, don't speak to her, don't look at her. If you do, she may decide to keep you for her own.
Okay. Oh my. Okay, hold on here. Any type of so this is one of those fun ones for a kid to listen to and read through and go, this is like a Candyman or whatever, these dumb little scary games for kids is how I equate this. But anytime you have one of those, like, I would love to do something like this to scare the hell out of my kid. But I would need to bring like a notepad and like have these steps all wrote out, because the second you said repeat steps 2 through 8, I'm like, oh hell, where was I supposed to start? And riding this elevator up and down, back and forth, like no. So now if you said this is Korean, I don't know what Elisa Lam's country origin is, but I can see why she might be depressed and have psychotic episodes. If she memorized this game and is actually trying to play it, I'd lose my damn mind too. This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's part of the allure to this story, is it's the attention to detail that makes it as creepy as it is, right? You've got to be thorough to get the point across that this is something you shouldn't mess with, which makes it all the more enticing to mess with it. I believe she's actually Canadian. Obviously, she was of Oriental descent, but I think she was Canadian.
So, what are your thoughts? I got the video pulled up from the beginning where she first pushes like the 5 floors. Obviously, the elevator's not going anywhere. So, is what how does this translate to the elevator game and that theory that we are witnessing some kind of paranormal experience that maybe she's seen and we're not, because maybe is she in another world? Like, how does this translate to that theory?
How does it translate to that? Well, basically, it's going to translate to the fact that her mind is in the other world, but maybe her body remains in this one. So she's not completely in control of her actions, in tune with the surroundings. And maybe that's why she found herself in the water tank. Maybe that's how she gained access to the roof, because her mind or her celestial being was in another dimension. So she was able to access things that she wasn't able to access in the normal world. That would be my take on it. However, if you watch this video, it does not look to me like she's playing it, because she never leaves this floor. So she's stuck here. She's dancing around. You never get off the elevator in the elevator game, right? The only time you get off is if you're done playing or if you want to explore. So I get why people want to make that comparison. It's fun. It adds a little mysteriousness to it, right? But she's clearly not going through those very specific steps that the elevator game says. So I would say that that's just people just trying to connect dots that aren't there.
Yeah, yeah. I am either that or she really sucks at following the rules of this game, which I bet anybody does.
Well, if that's the case, then I guess we have our cause of death right there. She really screwed up, and maybe this is the fifth floor.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe she's the creepy girl.
Well, that's another dot people probably want to connect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's interesting how people want to fantasize this a little bit more. It's a tragic story. 21-year-old girl found dead in a water tank on top of a hotel. She's got mental issues. She's bipolar. That's tragic enough, and then it gets conflated into this crazy ghost story and paranormal world that gets everybody excited. Feel bad for parents that have to have their daughter be a tool for that, and for this episode, kind of digging on ourselves, I guess, a little bit there. But at the end of the day, it is interesting, and there is a little bit of mystery to it. I don't know if it's a paranormal mystery, but it might talk more to real problems in the world of mental health issues, and is the hotel at fault here? Was there something deeper, darker at play here that you don't see on the footage? I know you mentioned something I'd never heard before, that there's possible people in the lobby of the hotel earlier, or that same day or whatever, possibly giving her a package of some sort. So maybe there is something more nefarious going on that may need some looking into. So that's why these are a little bit more fun to research and dig into. Do you know any more about that? I tried to look it up. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I couldn't find any more about it. That today, just looking at it, that was the first time I saw anybody mention. It said 2 men entered the lobby, gave her a package, and I didn't see much more after that. But I couldn't verify any of that with the rest of the reports. So at the same time, regardless of this being an accidental death, suicide due to mental health issues, or foul play, I think the biggest takeaway that we can confirm from all of this is the fact that she did suffer from mental issues. She had issues with her mental health, and that's the takeaway you should have regardless, because the most logical explanation is she suffered from a mental health issue and she ended up deceased because of it. So if that's the only takeaway we can confirm, and the only thing we can take away for sure, people with mental health issues, you gotta stay on top of it. People, if you know someone with mental health issues, you have got to make sure that you are there for them in any time of need. So that's my biggest takeaway from the whole thing, aside from the conspiracy aspect of it.
Yep, absolutely. So I don't know. I'll wrap up my thoughts on this. So, unfortunate girl didn't take her medication. possible other things at play here, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's. I think it's more sad to see how manic she is on the elevator. You can tell that she's probably having an episode, and it looks creepy. And I haven't seen probably at that level, but I've seen people having some type of anxiety, almost manic type episodes before, and it's not fun to witness and not fun to watch. So I think that's part of the lure of paranormal is a lot of people haven't witnessed that and seen people going through that and what it does to their mind and their body and their reaction. So to me, that's really what it looked like, and how she got up there, I don't know. Probably be a mystery forever. Maybe there's two guys in trench coats and black hats that took her out, and then the question would be why. But
Yeah.
I feel some guy probably went out for a smoke break upstairs, left the door unlocked or propped open, and she found her way out there, climbed over, and decided, it's L.A. It's hot. I want to go for a swim. Who knows with the
Right.
state of mind she's in, and
Yeah, she's not in the right frame of mind anyway, and it could be just as simple as the security measure on the door was not working at that specific moment. It happens. It does happen. So, yeah, does it sound convenient? It does. But does it sound crazier to say that she just happened to go out there having an episode when it wasn't working, or is it crazier to say two men in black took her up there and dumped her in the tank?
Yeah. So that's kind of the rundown. That's Elisa Lam. There's some really interesting podcasts out there I've listened to and kind of prep for this. Stuff You Should Know has a kind of a side podcast. Stuff They Don't Want You to Know. They did a pretty interesting take on it. Also, a couple of gals on. My sister hooked me up with. I think that's Why I Drink podcast. A couple of funny gals on there. They go through kind of some paranormal stories. So shout out to a couple other podcasts that were pretty entertaining. If you want to check out more into it, by all means. And then, of course, Wikipedia and everybody else who's always got all kinds of fun stuff for us to research and update. So feel pretty good about it.
All right. So I guess moving on from that, we should probably touch on what we talked about last week and what we thought was purely fantasy could be coming to fruition a bit. I'm talking, of course, about the potential Cruz Bieber mega fight. And holy crap, there might actually be a chance that this could happen for charity or what have you. But it sounds like Cruz's people are up for it, and then it sounds like Bieber's like, oh, man, I really kind of walked myself into a corner here, and I might have to go through with this. But I think if he gets enough time to prep, he's on board too. Dana White's made it clear that I'd be stupid not to book this fight. This would be the easiest fight in the world to promote. So could it happen? Maybe. It looks better than it did a week ago.
Yeah, I love it. I saw one of Tom Cruise's co-stars already shots fired, I believe this morning, said that it wasn't even on Tom Cruise's radar. He didn't even really care about the tweet, didn't know anything about it. He just kind of blew it off of like, how much attention does this kid need? So nice little personal dig, making it sound like, this isn't a big deal, but, this kid's just out for attention. So, that's a tug to the ego of Mr. Bieber there. So, I like the chances of this possibly being something. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, but wow, this would be fun to see. It started off as a joke between us. Let's get this party started. I want to see more celebs.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Man, I don't know how much money I'll be willing to drop on this fight. I'd like to tell you I'd have more personal restraint, but at the same time, I know better. I'm paying to see this fight regardless, because how could you not want to see this fight? The idea of the guy from the Mission Impossible movies beating the crap out of the young little pop star that was once confused as a girl because he was so squeaky. Oh my God. It writes itself, man. This would be so much fun to watch. And just think, on the off chance that Bieber catches him with a lucky shot and wins this fight, what then? does Bieber get it in his head that, hey, I'm kind of a bad son bitch. I think I'm going to go somewhere with this. We can get more fights of Justin Bieber. Hey, come on. There is no bad ending here. It's all good, no matter what happens. I'm excited either way. I really hope this happens.
Yeah, it's good for everybody. There's nobody loses in this.
No.
Biebs or Tom, neither of them would lose in this. Like,
Nope.
just the publicity, the hype, they'd make so much money. Whether it's for themselves or for charity, it wouldn't matter. The money would be flowing.
Oh God, the amount of money that this thing would make, and yeah, even though it would be for charity, yeah, they'd probably still come out looking pretty good paycheck wise from it, because ad revenue, buy pay-per-view, buy. Oh yeah, they're still going to make some scratch off it. But yeah, come on, this is a mega money fight. Please let this happen.
Yes. Speaking of fights, tonight, Korean Zombie's back. So ESPN Plus, if you're a subscriber, free fight, our main card. It's not a very impressive card through and through, but the Renato versus the Korean Zombie could be a fight of the year. These two fellas can scrap. So little fun to look out. I think Bellator's got a fight card this weekend too. I haven't looked into that one too much, but hey, every weekend seems like there's some fights out there. Let's throw some celebrities in the mix. Let's do this.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed that Chael Sonnen lost to Lyoto Machida. Chael Sonnen's such a mouthy son of a bitch. He's just great on the mic. Love hearing him, and I think that was probably his last loss. Sounds like he's going to retire right off in the sunset, which kind of sucks. That was another guy I watched quite a while back in the day. So, and Machida too. But I was pulling for Chael on that one.
Yeah. Chael's quite the shit talker, but all of his after that one, the whole UFC MMA community, all you seen was love for him and everybody, talking good. Even the ones that would go back and forth with him. There was a lot of love given to him on what he's done for the sport and the epic fights he's had. So sad to see him go, but he'll be around. He'll be commentating for a while and riling people up.
You know why he's good on the mic, right?
Why's that?
Because back before WCW closed, he was training in the WCW power plant to be a professional wrestler. He picked up on a lot of that promo skill stuff, and that obviously it stuck with him because he's used that very, very well in his MMA career.
Yeah. Well, we'll see him around. Who knows? Maybe he'll pop into into some WWE eventually.
All for it. Love listening to him talk crap.
Awesome. What I got updates here. This Dominican Republic thing. We've kind of touched on it a couple times in the past few weeks.
Still going.
Oh my God, Jeez. It's still going. So now there's a couple celebrities coming out. So I don't know who this chick is. I don't watch The Bachelor, but apparently Melissa.
You don't?
Oh, I know.
Oh,
I'll get
foo on you, sir.
Anyway, Melissa Rycroft. So she was at a Nickelodeon resort and back in February, and I guess she became very, very ill after that. So today they're investigating that, and then also the Hard Rock Hotel in the Dominican Republic. They are removing liquor dispensers through this investigation of the tourist deaths. So you got several reactions. I believe this is in the FBI's hands right now and digging into it. And then you have Ortiz shooting, which looked like an assassination attempt. Now it sounds like they got the wrong guy. Some dude was trying to put a hit out on his cousin. I really think a lot of this is you got drug money and cartels down there starting to have a little fight for power, because they usually leave this stuff alone because they filter their money through the American tourist system. But I think there's a power struggle going on in the Dominican Republic. Here we go. My conspiracy theory.
There we go. Yep. Perfect.
I really think you got a family trying to push for power and take over down there, and it's starting to affect the sweet little innocent world that we thought was there. No, it's not. It's not like that at all. You get south of the U.S. border, it gets crazy when you're in the real life and in the shit. You're not sitting in one of these cozy little hotels.
No.
I think they're trying to hurt the government and scare away U.S. tourism and get some more leverage so they can move around a little bit more freely. It's a mob mentality. It's the same thing they did in the U.S. back in the day with the mob. You gotta have leverage. You gotta control the money. You gotta control the flow of money. So, I see a lot going on in the background here. I'm interested to see how far this goes, and don't want people to die, but this is getting juicy.
Yeah, it's yeah. It doesn't look like this is gonna taper off anytime soon. I think this is gonna dig up some deep stuff, and this is just gonna get worse before it even begins to get better. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that. I'm just going through some random stupid news bits, but half of them are so disgusting or it will piss you off. I ignore them because I don't need to ruin my day. But here's a fun one. Flat Earthers cruise will sail to Antarctica ice wall at the planet's edge. Looks like organizers of an annual conference that brings together the people to believe the Earth is flat are planning a cruise to the purported edge of the planet. They are looking for the ice wall that holds back the oceans. The journey will take place in 2020. Coming up, mark your calendars. Flat Earth International Conference recently announced on its website the goal to test the so-called flat earthers' assertion that Earth is a flattened disk surrounded at its edge by a towering wall of ice. So, in 2020, you had any doubt about the spheric shape of the Earth, you can go check out the ice wall that they are dead set exists. Thoughts?
Oh dear. Okay. Flat Earth.
I know.
Okay,
I know. I
okay.
really.
You see this? You see
Yeah,
this?
I see it. Yep.
I take that one from Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's
All
his
right.
mic drop.
Yeah.
That's gravity.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly it. No.
Do we need to talk about? Okay, let's talk about it. Where is the ice wall? Oh my god,
Antarctica.
I can't believe I'm talking about this.
Yeah, it's in Antarctica,
No.
and it just holds the oceans back.
Yeah, it just holds all the water in. So the
Yes.
thought of this, like, there's no thought around the scale of how big the Earth is, and
No, that's the beauty of the flat Earth theory, because it went from no, it's not a sphere, it's not a ball, it's actually a disc. Okay, well, it's not exactly a disc. It's more like a top. If you put the top upside down, because there's kind of a peak in the middle, and it slopes down towards the edges. Oh, okay, but now we're going to put that top in a bowl so that the water doesn't fall off. So basically, their own description of how the Earth is shaped changes with the narrative that they're trying to push at that particular moment. But I digress. Yeah, there you have it. It's just a big disc that's not a disc in a bowl.
so this thing gets crazy and weird. So not only is it a flat plane and it's got an ice wall around the edge and nobody's ever been to it, whatever. That we're not.
No,
actually,
the government with assault rifles are stationed around the wall, is from what I've understood. You can't get to it. Everybody who tries to get shot.
Yeah, and then the other theory is the sun isn't what we think it is. It's much closer, and that's how it radiates so much heat. The moon isn't what we think it is.
It's only like 100 miles away if you ask the right people.
Yeah, and the rotation of the Earth isn't really happening. Even so, the curvature of the Earth, one of the best ways I've heard it explained. And anybody who's done any hunting or long range shooting, in a sniper scenario, you account for not only gravity but the curvature of the Earth when you're aiming. You
Yep.
have to.
Yep. And I think that's why that flat idea changed into sloped, because oh crap, there's a hole in our theory. Let's just stick our thumb in that hole, and we'll worry about the legitimacy of this fix here later on down the line. We're still right, though. We're still right. That's basically how that works.
So in the center of a flat Earth, that's apparently the North Pole,
Of
and
course.
of course, yep, that makes total sense. And then the Antarctic, like you said, is the ice wall completely surrounding the entire flat plain, and nobody's ever been across it. Even didn't people? I'm pretty sure people have flown from end to end of the Antarctic. Am I
I
wrong?
would assume, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, of course. It's got to be a thing, right?
I would assume so.
You would think. I mean, if you can
So
go around the Earth, you can probably do that.
so folks, this is a real thing. So here's a idea and a picture of what's imagined to be the flat Earth. That's not a
Now you're getting an aerial view here, of course.
yes. Well, of course, it's a disc with a slope. So I guess there's only one way to take a picture. Even though you can't take a picture from space, which would
Oh,
show it.
pull up the picture of the flat Earth on the back of the turtle. That's my favorite.
Oh, that's good stuff. So now, there. Okay, I'll entertain a couple of thoughts here. So some folks say you can see the curvature of the Earth when you're in a plane. Not really. So that's a misconception. That's actually because of the curvature of the glass in the plane. The world is so big, and this is what the I'm just gonna say it. What the flat Earth dummies don't understand is the Earth is so we can't conceive of how big it is visually
No.
that we could not see the curvature of it unless we are. I'm trying to remember how far away it is,
You
but
have to actually almost get into orbit, I think, before you can see the curvature, I believe.
yeah, it's a crazy amount of distance. That's how big this is, and how big the
Look it up.
distance between the sun, the moon, and the heat, and this is it's just so frustrating. I'm not a scientist. I wish I was, so I could just like start slamming stuff around. But again, gravity done. Just when the other one was the water. How does the water stay on the Earth if it's a ball and it's spinning? Well, because it's in the vacuum of space. Uh, and it's got an atmosphere that's pressurized and it's holding together. Like
You're
I don't know
saying
that
way
much.
too many big science words there, man.
Oh, and the fact that their explanation of gravity I've heard was not only is it flat, but it's shooting up so fast. That's what makes gravity. I'm like, what?
Well, if we're shooting up through space, eventually we're going to hit that dome that's probably surrounding our solar system, right? Because that's
Right.
probably a thing too. This says there's two ways to see the curvature of the Earth. Either you go up or you go to a beach. You should be able to detect it from an airplane at a cruising height of around 10,600 meters, 35,000 feet, but you need a fairly wide field of view, which, yeah, you can't see that from an airplane window, right? Not with that, yeah, like you said. So I thought I'd higher than that. I think, let me check another one here. Oh, oh, wow, that is a lot of science that is way out of my
Okay, I think we got next week's topic. We're gonna beat the hell out of this one.
Yeah, they're saying 35,000 feet is where you can start seeing curvature may be measurable as low as 20,000, but yeah, that's not likely. So yeah, you got to get way the hell up there, but you can see it, and it is a thing. And like you said, it's you take it into account when you're shooting and everything. It's a thing for a reason. But I think that's why they added the slope theory into the flat theory. So now it's a flat slope on the back of a turtle.
On the back of a turtle. I love it.
Of course.
Now that's definitely. God, I don't want to consume my week with dumb stuff, but I'm sure there's other dumb ones that we could add to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love these. It just cracks me up. And like if you get on Facebook and you find yourself in a comment section with a flat earther, it is the most entertaining thing that you could possibly read because 90 people will come at them with a logical explanation of why what they just said is completely insane. And then their reasoning will be so obtuse from what facts they were just provided. It will actually make your head hurt. It's hilarious. The common one being, well, then how can people fly around the Earth? They're like, well, it's like if you take a compass on a paper, you're just actually going around that way. Oh, that explains it. That's how we're going around. So what if I took that plane and went that way instead of just going in a circle? What if I actually turned the plane so it went around? Well, you don't understand. You clearly just don't understand the concept. Yeah, you're right. It's me.
Sure
I'm
don't.
the problem.
Wow. So, for those that don't believe this is the thing, look it up. This is way more of a thing than it should be.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It is comical, but man, some people will die on this hill. They really believe this. They think it's a huge government NASA conspiracy. And whatever, you can go into NASA conspiracies all you want. I might entertain some of those, but I really don't think that they've been trying to dupe us for a couple hundred years. Who benefits from the world being flat versus round?
I know that Trump does for sure, right?
No, he benefits from it being round. I mean, how are you going to get a Space Force? You got to have the Space Force, man.
That's right. You're right. My bad.
That's the other one. Space is fake.
Well, yeah, it's just we're just turning the lights off on the blue sky.
Dinosaurs aren't real.
Well, no, of course not. They're clearly wooden bones made by carpenters.
Yep. Jesus.
Yeah, I like those. We can definitely delve into those sometime.
Yes, for sure. Any other new news? We touched on some of the most recent ones we'd talked about. Anything new we need to keep an eye on moving forward, or?
Oh, nothing crazy. In other news, I guess you've got WWE Stomping Grounds tomorrow night, Sunday, June 23rd, around 6 p.m. Central Time. It's gonna be a lackluster show, folks, but we're gonna watch it and enjoy it as much as we possibly can. Join us on the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast.
Awesome. Sounds good. Then we got 4th of July coming up. Some fun weekends up ahead. So everybody stay safe and like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you want to hear about. Let's make fun of some flat earthers and give us some silly topics of conspiracy theories. Tony, I'm telling you, space is fake.
I know. I knew it all along. I had a feeling.
Yep, it totally is fake. So, all right, more to come, folks. Like I said, like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you tuning in and checking out episode 5 here. We'll keep them coming weekly for you. Have a great, safe, wonderful holiday, and we'll see you next week, folks.
Happy birthday, chicken.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you.